Hello, friends. This is Nathan here at the Gold Cove. I hope you're having a great day by the time you hear this. Down here, we've been kind of busy. I mean, not huge numbers of people coming in like earlier in the year, but big deals, a lot of big deals. And so if you don't know, we are just outside of Detroit here in Michigan, 25555 Gratiot in Roseville. I'd encourage you to come in and see us if you can. If you can't, thank you for watching, hanging out with us. I'd like to tell you that we don't ship, so probably once a day or every other day, people are contacting us like, hey, I want that Monday special, or, can you this? And I apologize for that. I wish that you would still please watch us and hang out with us. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about gold. The last few talks we had was more focused on silver, which is not my favorite. My favorite is gold. And I've had a few discussions in the last couple of days with some sophisticated customers, and that's kind of inspired this video. And so we're going to get into it. One thought that I really had, and I'll have to lay it out for you, it'll take a second. Elemental, right? They're the largest refinery in the nation. The largest refinery. So what does that mean? Well, they take in gold, they silver, they melt it, but they also stamp bars. They put their names on it. You've seen 10-ounce elemental bars, 1-ounce gold bars. And so they're a big producer. Well, every day dealers get price sheets of what they're paying. And so they're paying spot minus $8 for 999 silver, 1-ounce rounds, 1-ounce bars, 10-ounce bars, stuff like that. They're paying spot minus $8. So right now we got a spot price of $80. They're paying 90% of silver. That's lower than a melt refinery rate traditionally has been. And so that's alarming, because that price that they pay, typically a dealer would pay less than that, so that would be their outlet that they could wholesale it to elemental. So we do pay a little bit better than elemental, but not a lot. And part of that is just supply and demand. There's not a lot of demand right now. Matter of fact, now I'm talking about silver. I say we're going to talk about gold, but I'm wedging that way. And so the largest bullion dealer in my area is paying spot minus $13 an ounce for silver. And I even asked him, I was sitting down and I said, why? That's really low. And he explained it to me, and it wasn't even worth repeating a lot. He just thought it was going to go down, thought it was overpriced. There's no one to buy it. Everything's wholesale, the normal stuff. But what that leads me into is gold. If you sell gold, you're going to get a couple percent under spot. I don't know where you go. You might get 99%. You might get 95%. Somewhere in that range, 95% of the dealers out there are going to fall in that range. Maybe 90% of the dealers, a real dealer. Somebody you might find outliers that'll pay less. They're not well funded. They don't want more gold at $4,000 an ounce. It's just slim margins. But that's where most people are going to fall. So right off the bat, you can see that the largest refinery is paying 90%. Most dealers on gold are going to pay 95%. That's a 5% difference. To me, that's a big motivator to go ahead and buy gold over silver right now. I did some numbers. We're kind of doing this intraday. Caleb, is somebody pulling in? Is that what you're looking around? You're making me nervous. A lot of times we'll do this while we're closed. Right now we are open and nobody's in here. And I hope it stays like that for a minute, but we'll get busy again. I put out some gold examples just for eye candy. Some of this is new. Some of it's been around a long time. I did a little bit of stat checking, and I want to throw those numbers out to you. So I'm gonna throw out, in the year 2000, the average gold price per ounce was $279. $279 was the average price over that year. And the average wage, this is probably, I don't know how they figure this. You can probably get different numbers for this, but I just did a search. It said the average wage was $680 a week. So essentially you could get a couple ounces if you took all of your pay and you bought gold with it, you'd get a couple ounces of gold and have something left over. And so I don't know what that ratio is. So your pay was a ratio of two ounces of gold for your week's pay, a little bit more. Then it went to 2010. The average price of an ounce of gold over the course of 2010, I think 2010 was a big year. Like by the end of 2010, gold had risen a lot. Early in the year, it was quite a bit lower. I want to say gold was probably $800 early 2010 and quite a bit more by the end. But the average price for 2010 was $1,225. So an ounce of gold, $1,225, 2010, 16 short years ago. That's a pretty good increase from where we are today. that number there where we are today, that's a good return. But the average wage did not go up much from 2000. I think it was still in a slump from the recession that we had in 08. But the average wage was $800 a week. And so now we looked at, okay, gold now costs more than 1 week's worth of pay based on the averages, the average citizen or what they would make. And so we looked at in 2000, gold, you could take your week's pay and you could buy over 2 ounces of gold. Now by 2010, your week's pay would buy you 3/4 of an ounce of gold. All right. So gold had surpassed the average weekly wage. Now we look at today. I don't know if I'm making a case for anything here, because what I see with these numbers, gold is very expensive. But today in 2026, we're going to call gold $4,700 an ounce. Tried to get the average, but it just didn't play out the way I looked for it, because we're mid-year and that date is not that easy to, I didn't look that hard. But anyway, we're using today $4,700 an ounce. The average weekly pay today is $1,235 a week. So the average guy goes to work, makes $1,235 a week. Thank God for you. Please keep going to work. We need our economy to keep moving. But what I see there is now it's going to take you a month of working to buy 1 ounce of gold. Whereas 26 years ago, you could buy 2 ounces of gold for a week's wage. 15 years ago, you could buy 3/4 of an ounce of gold for a week's wage. Today, you can buy 1/4 ounce of gold for a week's wage. I'm talking about the average. I know there's people out there that fight and struggle to make $600 a week. And I know there's people out there that make 10 grand a week. And praise God, that's fantastic, right? Whoever you are. But we're just talking about averages. And so gold's very expensive. And the reasoning for that today is banks, institutions, governments, they have driven up the price of gold. And so I am still a gold buyer. And probably a big enlightening thing for me is that the resale on silver right now is really bad. So if you come in and buy it from me, you're going to buy it low. I mean, we're selling stuff at spot. We're selling stuff at $1 under. We ran a special this week. We're selling stuff at $1. Yeah, $1 under spot. So that's good. That's fair to buy. But when you come and resell it at, $6, $7, $8 under spot, that's not really, I mean, it's fair because that's just what it is, but it's not, it doesn't feel fair. It sucks. And so when you look to gold, we are going to charge 2-3% over spot, but then we're going to buy it 2-3% under spot. Depending on what it is, we may even pay a little bit less than that if it's just harder, undesirable stuff. But that rate, that spread is much thinner in gold. And so if banks, if governments, if institutions, hedge funds, sovereign funds, if they all want gold, I'm not smarter than the rulers of the universe. I'm going to follow them into gold. And so they may not get the gains. You got the average guy comes in here, buys silver, he wants the gains. That's good, that's fine, nothing wrong with that. The thing that would deter me today, which will change, things always change. The thing today that would deter me and push me towards gold is a lower sellback rate on silver. If you know you're not going to sell for 10 or 20 years, that's probably a non-factor. And that the banks, the leaders, the rulers of the universe, they all keep dumping money into gold. And nothing's changed. We're printing more. The cost, the value of money is less. Gold keeps going up. And I'm a safety guy. I make a pretty good income. I really, at the end of the day, I'm really conservative. I'm more concerned about preserving what I make than I am about growing what I make. Now, if I didn't make a lot, I might be more concerned about making more. So for me, it's almost always going to be gold. And that's the case I'm making today. So some guys come in here, this is just kind of packaging stuff. It looks nice, shows nice, but some guys will come in here and they might buy 1/10 a week. That's a lot. $500, $520, $480, depends where the market is. Some guys might buy, did I say a month or a week? I don't know. Some guys might buy 1/10 a week. There's other folks, it's hard for them to buy 1 a month. I'm going to say, if you have a hard time buying gold and silver, you need to work harder, work smarter. Right? So you don't just want to settle. You're going to spend 40 years working for somebody. You don't just want to settle for your minimum value. Figure out how to position yourself to make more money. People all across this world are doing that. Your neighbors are doing that. If you're in a land of no opportunity, I understand that. But some people will just buy 1/10 when they can. Some people will buy 1 ounce a week, 1 ounce a month, 2 a year, whatever that case is, whatever you can do, buy some gold, put it away. Believe it or not, when gold was $279, that was half a week's pay. A guy was making a case to his wife that he wanted to buy gold. She said, you can't, it's a lot of money. In 2010, when gold was $1225, they made a case. You can't buy gold, it's a lot of money. Today, $4,700, you don't have to make the case. It most definitely is a lot of money. If you look at income versus the cost of an ounce of gold, it is exorbitantly high. But I think it's going higher. I think it's going higher because there's just not a lot of stable ground in the world that we're living in, right? Nothing. And I'll tell you what's shocking to me, it looks like as soon as this little war is over, I don't want to discount. Somebody yelled at me about that in one of the comments, that I discounted. So as soon as this conflict between Iran and America is over, it looks like gold and silver are going to go up, which is actually the opposite of how I think it should behave. When we are in uncertainty and war and violence and shortage and fear and anxiety, that's when gold and silver go up traditionally. This has been the opposite, contrarian for sure. I want to tell another quick story, and then I am out looking for the next big deal. A guy came in yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Today's Friday. Must have been the day before. He came all the way from Naples. He said, I've been watching your videos. Now, to be fair, he does live an hour and a half away, but he's been watching the videos all winter while he was in Naples. And he sold me a decent amount. He sold me, I think it was 3 ounces of gold. Maybe it was a couple hundred ounces of silver. So somewhere between 150, 200 ounces of silver. Quite a bit of money. He bought it like 6, 7 short years ago and just realized huge gains. Not sure his motivation for selling. I think he just said he was selling it because it was high. And so even just making that decision to buy a few years ago, he more than doubled his money on a tangible asset with very little risk. You're holding on to it. Nobody can swindle you out of it. You do have to worry about thieves, right? But if you just prepare for that, that's almost a non-factor. So I would encourage you, buy gold, buy silver, unless you're a wizard in other realms. I don't always want to say just blindly buy gold and silver, blindly buy gold and silver. If you did that 3 months ago on my advice, not saying that was my advice, but if you did, you might be sore today. But if you're a saver, get it out of your savings, get it into gold and silver. If you're an investor, you're probably going to you could very well do better. Anything else, Caleb? What did I miss?
I think you covered all the bases pretty well.
Covered the bases. Well, I appreciate that you guys watched the video. I don't know when this is coming out. For me right now, we're heading into the weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Spend it well. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, make a comment. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you guys for watching our videos, subscribing to the channel, and liking our content. We are truly enjoying this journey on YouTube with all of you, and I hope you guys are as well. Be sure to be subscribed to the channel and notified on all of our content. And most importantly, buy precious metals, and don't forget to check out Cameron's whatnot called Gold Cove Cam on there. Things are going way too cheap. It's exciting. It's fun. I'm on there. Pops is on there. Cams is on there. And yeah, don't forget to, throw in some suggestions in the comments down below of what you want to see. Or if you want to be on film, please also let us know. Take care, everyone. We appreciate y'all. Have a great day.